Welcome to the Old Wisdom Podcast, the place where the quietest voices often carry the loudest truths. I'm your host, and today we ask a question that's haunted every generation. What's the secret to a good life? But instead of asking influencers or self-help gurus, I ask the people who've lived it all. 100 elders, men and women over the age of 80, each carrying decades of heartbreak, joy, failure, and love. What they told me was simple but profound. No cliches, no filters. Just real wisdom earned the hard way. So whether you're 18 or 80, take a breath, slow down, and join me on a journey into the hearts and minds of those who've seen what really matters.
Welcome to our latest exploration, where we take a stack of sources and, well, really try to pull out the core insights for you.
That's the plan.
Today, we're plunging into something quite extraordinary. A social experiment, really. A week-long journey designed to build, radical empathy.
Right.
Imagine spending 7 whole days living as an 85-year-old.
Hard to picture, isn't it?
It really is, but that's exactly what a 28-year-old content creator did. And her personal account, well, it offers this kind of profound shortcut to understanding the often unseen, complex realities of aging.
Yeah, and our mission here, for you listening, is to really explore the surprising, sometimes challenging, and deeply human insights that came out of this whole immersive experience. This experiment, it really lets us gain knowledge quickly and pretty thoroughly, I'd say, about the physical, sensory, cognitive, and social sides of aging.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
And understanding these perspectives is just, well, it's crucial for all of us, really. It's a unique window into something universal.
So our main source for today's discussion is her own account, titled, "I Lived Like an 85-Year-Old for 7 Days. Here's What I Learned."
Catchy title.
It is. And we're going to unpack not just the intense preparation that went into this, but also the immediate, sometimes really shocking realities she faced right from the get-go.
Okay.
So the big question first, what on earth possessed her to do this?
Yeah, good question. It actually started, she says, during a visit to her grandmother. She's in assisted living.
Okay.
And she was just watching her grandmother struggle with things that seem simple to us.
Right.
Opening a jar, reading labels on medicine bottles, even just getting up from a chair.
Things we don't even think about.
Exactly. But what really struck her wasn't just the physical difficulty, it was her own internal reaction. She realized she was feeling judgmental, thinking things like, why is she moving so slowly? Or, come on, just ask for help already.
Wow. That's honest.
Very. And it led to this profound realization. She had absolutely no idea what it truly felt like to be her grandmother. That awareness, that gap in her own empathy, it's actually a really beautiful motivation, I think.
It really is. And it speaks to that, that broader human thing we all kind of have, right? To just not quite get experiences outside our own bubble.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
And bridging that gap, well, as she found out pretty quickly, it took a lot of preparation.
Oh, definitely.
The planning that went into this was something else. Weeks of research, talking to geriatricians.
Those are the doctors specializing in elderly care.
Right. And occupational therapists, the ones who help people with daily living skills. She even got a special effects makeup artist involved.
Like for the movie.
Exactly. Someone known for aging actors. Because the goal wasn't just looking old, it was simulating as much as possible. The physical, the sensory, cognitive, social, the whole package.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. The sensory simulation, for instance. What did that involve?
Okay, so she had these special glasses. They were designed to mimic cataracts, which cloud your vision, and also macular degeneration, which affects your central vision.
So basically everything blurry and losing peripheral vision too.
You got it. And then physically, she wore these really thick gloves. Think arthritis simulation, making it hard to grip anything.
Reduced dexterity.
Totally. Plus weights on her legs and arms to mimic muscle weakness and, stiff joints. And there was even an aging suit, like padding, that changed her posture and made moving really difficult.
Wow. That's a lot just physically. What about the cognitive side? You mentioned a neuropsychologist.
Yeah, so this specialist helped her understand how aging can affect things like processing speed and memory.
And how did they simulate that?
Well, for memory lapses, she had these random phone timers go off. When one did, she had to stop whatever she was doing. Mid-task. And try to remember a list of words she'd studied that morning if she couldn't remember them all.
Oh.
Had to restart the task she was in the middle of.
Oh, that sounds incredibly frustrating. Imagine trying to cook dinner and having to start peeling the vegetables again.
Right. And for slower processing speed, there was this app. It gave her complex instructions for tasks, but then it forced her to wait like a certain period before she could actually do them.
Mimicking that delay between thought and action.
Exactly. That sort of brain lag. It sounds like this constant low-level annoyance that just chips away at you.
Yeah, your sense of competence. Definitely.
So here's where it gets really interesting. Day one. How quickly did this simulation become, well, real for her?
Almost immediately, from her account. She described just this overwhelming sense of vulnerability right from the start.
Like just getting out of bed.
Took forever.
Huh.
And it wasn't just about being physically slow. She said it instantly highlighted how much our normal routines, even our sense of control, rely on these effortless automatic movements we don't think twice about.
Exposing all those invisible barriers.
Exactly. Those things you and I do on autopilot, brushing teeth, making breakfast. They suddenly become these Herculean efforts.
Yeah, she mentioned brushing her teeth specifically. The gloves made it almost impossible to hold the brush right.
Dropped it 3 times, she said. And by 7 a.m. on the first day, she was already exhausted and just frustrated.
Wow. 7 a.m.?
And opening a simple cereal box felt like this monumental task because of the thick cardboard, the gloves, and her blurry vision.
It's a profound aha moment, isn't it? Thinking about the convenience we just take for granted every single day.
Absolutely. And that exhaustion wasn't just physical. Everything, she estimated, took at least 3 times longer than normal.
3 times? That completely changes your relationship with time, doesn't it?
Fundamentally, every little task becomes this significant time investment. It just blows up your daily schedule, any plans for leisure or seeing people.
Dressing must have been awful.
A nightmare, she said. Buttons, zippers, forget it. Putting on jewelry.
Yeah.
Impossible. She literally had to reorganize her whole closet just so she could manage getting dressed in things she could actually handle.
And it wasn't just at home, right? You mentioned grocery shopping.
Yeah, that was a big one. A normal 45-minute trip turned into over 2 hours.
2 hours.
Trying to read labels that are blurry, reaching for things on high shelves, dropping things because of the gloves. Just physically and mentally draining.
It's a stark reminder of how unfriendly our everyday environments can be if you don't have typical abilities.
Completely. And she described this moment just feeling so humbled when she couldn't open a jar of pasta sauce.
Oh, man.
Had to ask a complete stranger for help. And for someone who prided herself on independence, that was really, really tough.
Okay, this raises an important question. Beyond her own struggles, how did other people react? How did they treat her when she appeared elderly in public?
This, she said, was maybe the most eye-opening part of the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. The way people treated her just shifted dramatically, and it was kind of split.
How so?
Well, on one hand, some people were incredibly kind, really patient. They'd speak a bit slower, offer help without being asked, give her extra time at the checkout.
That's nice to hear.
It is. But then there was this shocking level of dismissal. Rudeness, even.
Like what?
People literally pushing past her in aisles, rolling their eyes, muttering things under their breath about slow old people.
Oh, that's awful. Just awful.
It really is disheartening. And she also talked about this constant demoralizing infantilization.
Being treated like a child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like at restaurants, servers would sometimes talk to whoever she was with instead of directly to her, as if she couldn't understand or decide for herself.
Wow.
At the bank, a teller kept asking, really condescendingly, if she needed help understanding the form she was signing and trying to buy a phone charger. The salesperson just immediately assumed she knew zero about technology. It just highlights this really deeply ingrained societal bias, you know?
Yeah. That kind of treatment must have a huge emotional toll.
Oh, absolutely. When people dismiss you or talk down to you like that, it really starts to make you feel less capable, even mentally, even separate from the cognitive simulation she was doing. It just chips away at your self-esteem, your sense of agency.
And on top of that emotional burden, there was the physical pain.
Right. By day 3, she said it really started to feel like what she imagined chronic pain must be like.
From the weights and the suit.
Yeah, the weights, the restrictive clothing. Every movement just hurt a bit. Her back constantly ached from the stooped posture. Her hands cramped up from those thick gloves.
And just tired all the time.
Perpetually tired, because absolutely everything required so much more physical effort.
It sounds exhausting on every level.
It really does. That constant physical discomfort, plus the mental drain of just having to be vigilant all the time to avoid tripping or dropping something, it's pervasive.
Did it affect her sleep?
Badly. She said her sleep was terrible all week. The discomfort just made it hard to get into a comfortable position. And that kind of perpetual tiredness, even if you technically get enough hours of sleep, is something so many elderly people experience. It just drains your energy, your quality of life.
And showering, simple things like that.
Became these huge productions, she said. Very elaborate, slow processes. And she actually had a scare she felt once, getting out of the shower.
Oh, no. Was she okay?
Yeah, she was okay. The padding helped. But it was because the padding shifted unexpectedly. It really highlighted for her how easily accidents can happen, how precarious balance can become.
Wow. So amidst all this difficulty, was there a moment where it just fully hit home? Like forgetting it was an experiment?
There was a really profound one she described on day 5.
What happened?
She loves reading. It's her way to relax. And she tried to sit down and read a book, and she just couldn't.
Why not?
The text was too blurry from the glasses. Holding the book itself was tiring because of the arm weights, and she kept losing her place because of the simulated concentration problems.
Oh, man.
And she just started crying, feeling this overwhelming sense of loss. And she said for those few minutes, she completely forgot it was just a simulation. She just felt the raw reality of losing something she loved, something core to her identity.
That's wow. The emotional weight of losing those simple, cherished activities.
Well, reveals so much, doesn't it? It's not just about the physical stuff. It's about how aging can impact your sense of self, the things that bring you joy.
It really hit home, as she put it.
Deeply.
Which I guess brings us to her interactions with actual elderly people during this week. She went to a senior center.
She did. Spent an afternoon there. Said she felt really nervous at first, kind of like an imposter, infiltrating their space.
I can imagine. How did that go?
The people there were incredibly welcoming, actually. She ended up sitting with an 82-year-old woman named Dorothy.
Okay.
And they just talked for hours about everything, life, family, fears, wisdom, the importance of connection.
That sounds amazing.
What's really fascinating here, though, is how Dorothy's own words kind of perfectly echoed what the experiment was revealing about society.
How so?
Dorothy talked about feeling invisible sometimes, about her kids rarely visiting. And she said something really powerful. Let me see if I can get it right. Something like, people see my wrinkles and my slow walking and think they know who I am. But they have no idea about the adventures I've had, the love I've experienced, or the strength it takes to keep going every day.
Wow. That quote just hits hard.
Doesn't it? It perfectly captures that societal tendency we have to reduce elderly people to just their physical limitations, completely missing the full, rich human being inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So despite all these immense challenges, did you find any positives, any unexpected silver linings during that week?
Surprisingly, yes. A couple of things stood out.
Like what?
One was this kind of forced mindfulness. Because she couldn't multitask or rush through anything, everything took longer and needed more focus.
Okay.
She found herself really noticing things she usually wouldn't. The texture of her food, the way sunlight felt on her skin, the sound of birds outside.
So a deeper engagement with the present moment.
Exactly. It was frustrating sometimes, sure, but it also brought this unexpected richness to just everyday experiences. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? How limitations can sometimes lead to deeper presence.
That's interesting. Anything else?
Yes, community. She noticed this incredible sense of mutual support among the elderly people she encountered, especially like at the grocery store.
What did she see?
People helping each other reach things, sharing tips or information, just checking in on one another. It was this tangible, often unseen network of care and understanding.
That's beautiful. A community built from shared experience.
Yeah. And her relationship with technology also changed dramatically during the week.
How did that play out? Was it helpful or just another frustration?
Both, really. It became a lifeline in some ways, but also a huge source of frustration.
Okay.
Like trying to type on her phone with those thick arthritis gloves.
Yeah.
Nearly impossible. He said it took like 5 minutes to send a simple 30-second text message.
Oh my gosh, 5 minutes.
So voice to text became absolutely essential, even though, it didn't always understand her perfectly.
But it also opened her eyes to accessibility features, right?
Big time. She discovered all these things she never knew existed. Voice assistants, large print options on phones, apps designed specifically for people with vision or mobility issues, things that can make a real difference.
But it also highlighted a problem.
Yeah, it made her realize how many everyday technologies are just not designed with elderly users in mind at all. It creates yet another barrier, another layer of difficulty.
That's such a crucial point. It really speaks to, like, the design implications for the future, doesn't it?
Absolutely. How can we design technology and environments to be more inclusive, to truly serve all stages of life, not just the young and the able-bodied?
So, looking at the week as a whole, what was the emotional journey like for her?
Intense. Definitely an emotional roller coaster. She described going through phases of just deep frustration, sadness, anger, even moments of despair.
Understandable.
Feeling completely overwhelmed by simple tasks sometimes, needing to just stop and take breaks. And she found herself getting more irritable than usual.
Which makes sense, right, when you're constantly fighting your own body, your environment.
Exactly. When your physical comfort is low and your emotional reserves are drained from just trying to function, it absolutely affects your mood.
But did that also make small kindnesses feel bigger?
Hugely. She mentioned feeling this profound sense of gratitude whenever someone was patient or offered help kindly without being condescending. Those small acts became magnified. They meant so much more than they ever would have normally.
How did her family and friends react to this whole thing?
Well, her parents, she said, initially thought she was a bit crazy.
I can maybe see that.
Right. But then they became really supportive. Her friends had mixed reactions. Some were fascinated. Others maybe didn't quite get the point.
But the most important reaction came from her grandmother, didn't it?
Yes. That was the most meaningful one for her. They had daily phone calls during the experiment week.
And what did her grandmother think?
She said it meant the world to her that her granddaughter was trying so hard to understand her experience. They ended up having deeper, more honest conversations that week than they'd had in years.
Wow.
Her grandmother actually started sharing things about her own daily struggles, things she'd never mentioned before, because she didn't want to be a burden.
So it really strengthened their relationship.
Tremendously, she said. A really powerful outcome.
Okay, so let's turn to the aftermath. The week is over. What did it feel like to take off the suit, the glasses, the weights, to return to being young?
Like being reborn. That's the word she used. Euphoric.
I bet.
Suddenly being able to see clearly again, move freely, do simple things without thinking or struggling. She said the very first thing she did was just run around her apartment. Because she could.
Just the simple act of running.
Yeah. Opening jars effortlessly, texting friends in seconds, reading a book with perfect clarity. Pure joy in those simple things.
That sounds amazing, but also incredibly bittersweet, I imagine.
Extremely bittersweet.
Yeah.
Because in that euphoria, there was also this immediate heavy realization. For millions and millions of elderly people, this isn't temporary. There's no suit to take off. This is their daily, permanent reality.
Yeah. That lands hard.
Mm-hmm. And if we connect this personal transformation to the bigger picture, it wasn't just about her feeling grateful. It led to real, tangible changes in her behavior and attitudes.
Changes that could impact how she, and maybe how you listening, interact with the world.
Exactly.
So what changed for her specifically?
Well, she's much more patient now. You know, if she's behind an elderly person in a queue or waiting for someone who's moving slowly, just fundamentally more understanding.
Okay.
She also makes a conscious effort now to make eye contact and smile at elderly people she passes, just acknowledging their presence. And she actually started volunteering at that senior center she visited during the experiment.
That's fantastic.
And she's become way more aware of accessibility issues in public spaces. Noticing things like the lack of benches for resting, signs that are too small to read easily, heavy doors that are hard to open, things most younger people don't even register.
And what about with her own grandmother? You said the relationship improved, but were there specific changes?
Oh, definitely. Profound changes. She visits much more often now, for starters.
That's great.
And their conversations are different, deeper. She really listens now, without interrupting or trying to rush her grandmother along or trying to fix things, just appreciating her stories, her wisdom.
And practically.
On a practical level, she helped her grandmother reorganize her apartment, moving things to make them easier to reach. And she helped her find and set up some of those assistive technologies they discovered, things that genuinely make her grandmother's daily life a bit easier.
That's incredibly impactful. So, based on everything she went through, if you're a younger person listening, someone who maybe catches themselves feeling impatient sometimes or dismissive, what's the core message she'd want you to hear?
Her message is pretty direct, I think. It's basically, hey, we're all going to be old someday, if we're lucky.
Right. It's a future self.
Exactly. The elderly people you see around you, they're a preview of your own future. And every time you roll your eyes or sigh impatiently or treat an older person like they're invisible or incapable, you're kind of deciding how you want to be treated when you get there.
That's a powerful way to frame it.
They aren't obstacles. They're fellow human beings who deserve respect and dignity. And they have decades of life, stories, wisdom packed inside them.
So looking back at this whole deep dive, what are the biggest insights about aging itself that we can take away from her experience?
I think there are a couple of really key things. First, that aging isn't something that happens to other people. It's a universal human experience, right? We're all on that path. And getting older is actually a privilege denied to many.
That's a crucial perspective shift.
It is. And second, and this is really important, many of the difficulties we associate with aging aren't actually inevitable biological declines. They're often the result of living in a society that just isn't designed with elderly people in mind.
Society failing the individual in a way.
In many ways, yes. Yeah. Better urban planning, think benches, accessible transport, more thoughtful product design, easy open packaging, clear instructions, and just fundamentally more inclusive attitudes. All these things could make aging much easier, much more dignified for everyone.
Okay, and final piece of advice from her. If someone listening was actually inspired by this and thought about trying some kind of similar, maybe shorter empathy experiment, what would she recommend?
Her advice is pretty clear. First, research, 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 and work with the professionals if you can. Make it realistic, make it safe. Don't just focus on makeup. Include the physical, the sensory, the cognitive aspects to get a real feel.
Okay.
Second, be ready for it to be emotionally tough, maybe tougher than you expect. Have a support system, someone you can talk to. And don't be afraid to take breaks if it gets overwhelming.
And the intention behind it.
Crucial.
Yeah.
Go into it with genuine curiosity and empathy, not as a stunt, not for clicks or entertainment. The goal has to be real understanding and connection.
So for her personally, what was the single most important thing she learned from living as an 85-year-old for a week?
I think it boils down to this. Aging does not diminish your worth as a human being, even though society often treats it that way.
Yeah.
Every single elderly person you encounter was young once. They had dreams, passions, heartbreaks, triumphs. They still have thoughts, feelings, opinions, desires. They are not just, bodies that don't work as well anymore. They are complete people, full of decades of experience and wisdom.
And the imperative for us
is to really see them as individuals worthy of our respect, our patience, and our dignity.
This deep dive has offered such profound lessons, hasn't it? That reborn feeling she had taking the suit off, it just powerfully underscores the bittersweet reality for millions who live with these challenges every single day with no escape hatch.
It really does. And I think this whole experiment highlights a really profound truth. So many of the challenges of aging aren't actually inevitable facts of biology. They're a reflection of how our society is designed, or maybe, more accurately, how it's failed to be designed for the full spectrum of human experience, which leaves us, and you listening, with a really important question to mull over. What small, deliberate steps can you take, starting today, to practice that empathy, to contribute, even in a little way, to a world that offers more dignity and understanding for every stage of life?
A powerful thought to end on. We really encourage you to reflect on your own interactions, maybe apply some of what we've discussed today, because understanding others' experiences ultimately is about recognizing our shared humanity.
Couldn't agree more.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep with us into what it means to be human.